hopes. You know, that he gave them a chance to hope again. And anybody at any rally would tell you that. And I thought this was the somber night to say, we can still get there, and we're going to get there, but let's not think it's going to happen tomorrow. And I think if you remember, when we had the off-year elections in '06, everybody thought the war would stop the next day because the Democrats were put into control. And I think this was very much Barack Obama trying to say, steady now, we won tonight, but this is serious stuff we're about to face, and it's not going to happen overnight.
Candy, we'll be talking to you throughout this evening. A lot of coverage ahead. Also, check out CNN.com for the latest political news. We're still getting results in from various states, various ballot initiatives, also a lot of important Senate races and House races as well. Lots to talk about. Stay tuned.
Tell me something. Why does my company have so many printers? Every time I turn around, there's...
Vote now for CNN's Hero of the Year at CNN.com/heroes.
And so the transition to power has now started. Barack Obama will get ready to become the next president of the United States throughout this month of November, December, and then January, leading up to January 20th. He'll have an opportunity to try to organize a smooth transition to become the 44th president of the United States. And we already know that the current president, President George W. Bush, has promised to do everything he can to make sure this is a smooth transition, and that Barack Obama and Joe Biden, the next vice president of the United States, will get everything they need to make sure that this process goes forward smoothly and on time. It's not going to be easy, but we're told he's going to start as early as tomorrow getting things going. The new president-elect. Bill Schneider is watching all of this over at Voter Analysis. And you're coming up with the numbers, how he managed to put this all together. Bill?
Very much, Wolf. This was a victory for the youth vote. They call this a victory for the new America, and that's certainly what young people were voting for. Let's take a look at the country as a whole. Look at voters who were under 30 years old. Two-thirds of them, 66%, voted for Barack Obama. Let's go one age category up, 30 to 44-year-olds. How did they vote? A little less, 52 to 46 for Obama. What about 45 to 64-year-olds nationwide? They split. 15% Obama, 49% for McCain. The one group of voters who did not support Barack Obama, and they were the holdouts, were seniors who voted for their fellow senior, John McCain. He got 53% of the senior vote, Obama just 45%. So the older the voting group, the less support for Obama, the more support for John McCain. It is true, Wolf, this was a victory for the young Americans.
Bill Schneider looking at all the numbers for us. Bill, thanks very much. And so the transition to power will begin. We're told tomorrow it will begin with President-elect Obama naming a transition team. And we're told that John Podesta, a former White House chief of staff under Bill Clinton, will be among those leading in this transition, together with Valerie Jarrett, another top advisor to Barack Obama, and as well as his Senate chief of staff, Peter Rouse, as well. All right, we're watching all of this. I want to show you what we know right now, with 76% of the popular vote now officially in, 48% for John McCain, 51% for Barack Obama. He's ahead by almost 4 million votes, 76% of the vote now. And if it stays above 50%, he would have a majority going into the White House. On the electoral vote right now, still 4 states that we cannot yet project a winner. Alaska, they haven't closed their polls. They closed their polls at 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. But right now, Barack Obama has 338 electoral votes to 156 for John McCain, much more than the 270 needed to be elected president of the United States. We'll take a quick break. CNN.com, you can get all the latest information on all the Senate races, the House races, the governor's races, ballot initiatives, and a lot more. We'll update you on what we know right after this.
I believe in the future.
In the future.
I believe in protecting the environment.
I believe in energy independence.
I believe we can limit greenhouse gases and keep energy cost affordable.
I believe in technology.
I believe in American ingenuity.
I believe that meeting a challenge
Brings out the best in us.
We will do this.
I believe. I believe.
I believe.
We can be energy independent. We can continue to use our most abundant fuel cleanly and responsibly. We can, we will.
Some people like to pretend a flood could never happen to them, and that their homeowner's insurance protects them. It doesn't. Stop pretending. It can happen to you. Protect your home with flood insurance. Call 1-888-FLOOD-74 for your free brochure. That's 1-888-FLOOD-74.
When Hurricane Katrina came through, we lost everything. We lost our business. Our trusted choice insurance agent took care of us in the worst possible time in anybody's lives. The good times are rolling again. Had it not been for our trusted choice agent, I promise you we would not be here today.
Trusted Choice independent insurance agents offer coverage from a choice of companies and pledge to be there for you when disaster strikes your home or business.
To find a Trusted Choice agent near you, visit trustedchoice.com.
CNN Tomorrow, a special extended edition of American Morning, the new president and how he won. CNN Tomorrow, a special extended edition of American Morning.
Hi, I'm Paul James Pace, president of Get Me Home Safely. We're introducing an easy-to-use prepaid taxi card covering all of Long Island. We all know someone who wasn't able to make it home safely at one time or another. Either they couldn't drive or no one was available to pick them up. Whatever the situation, our card gets you or your loved ones home safe and sound. Whether it's for a student needing a ride home from school, a senior from a doctor visit, teenagers from the mall, partygoers from a bar, or anyone else, it's easy. Just call the number on the card for your safe taxi ride home. Anywhere on Long Island, 24/7 for one low flat rate. And everything's included, even the tip. Both useful and practical, this card makes a perfect gift. And better yet, it could be a lifesaver.
Get Me Home Safely. We get you there when you can't. Saving lives one ride at a time. Call 877-414-CABS or go to getmehomesafely.com.
And welcome back. Our coverage continues. I want to talk about the transition to power a little bit. Gloria Borgia, you've been working on this. This is something the Obama campaign has been working on now for many months.
For many months, since last May, and Obama himself got very involved in this after the Democratic convention, I'm told. There are three things they know they need to do very quickly. First of all, their White House Chief of Staff, as we've been talking about. Secondly, their economic team, and then their national security team. Those are the sort of three things they want to get out of the way.
Same economic team that we've been seeing Barack Obama surround himself with?
Could be. Some of those names.
Or do we not know?
We don't know that. And I think people are encouraged by the kinds of people he's had around him and the names circulating for Treasury. Tim Geithner, head of the New York Federal Reserve, is a person who commands respect, I think, across the board, and is only 47 years old. And Larry Summers is another possibility. Some have talked about Paul Volcker coming in for a brief period of time or possibly coming in some sort of counselor role. But this is one of the first times I can remember when the Secretary of the Treasury is going to be almost as important as the Secretary of State.
Right. And there's a question, because there's this big summit in mid-November now that they may put off naming their economic team so they don't interfere with the G20 summit. But.
Yeah, exactly. But to go to it, they do plan. He has been eager to get to the governing phase. And Ed Rollins was saying earlier tonight that, you know, on election day, he was having an hour-long meeting with somebody about Homeland Security. You know, somebody came in, have a really serious conversation about that. So I think he's been doing a lot more looking forward to this tomorrow than anybody really knows.
I mean, how does that transition work in this country of ours? I mean,
they get a set of offices. They get essentially an office building in Washington, and they set up a government in waiting. And one of the things they're thinking about doing, Anderson, is they understand from studying past transitions that everything you do early on in a presidency gets magnified. You don't want to make the mistakes that Bill Clinton made. So they're thinking of doing some executive orders right away, right out of the box.
And for January.
for January when he becomes president, and they're thinking about that now in transition. How would you
What
how
were
would
the
you do
mistakes
that?
that Bill Clinton made that he wants to avoid that you're referencing?
Appointments, Zoe, you know, all of his, well, David can tell us about them, but a lot of his appointments that got rejected by the Congress. Also, they have to think about whether they do an economic stimulus package in a lame duck session, whether they do a small one, and what they do about the economy when he takes charge. They don't want to kind of make any little mistake just becomes a big mistake and becomes how you can govern, right?
He also doesn't want to appear like he's not ready for prime time. And a lot of the criticisms of Clinton was, oh, he has too many young people around him, they're not experienced in Washington, what's going on. Obama, who is extremely methodical, who is very deliberate, I mean, he wants to bring it across that I am an absolute leader. I am in charge. And so I don't think you're going to see a lot of the bungling. I mean, when they vet, they're going to vet because he's going to say, we can't afford the mistakes.
The two things, Anderson, that are very different about this transition than from the Clinton transition or any other. A time of crisis, and he's a sitting senator. So that there's going to be a lame duck session coming up of Congress. They're coming back. What's the role of a president-elect who's also a sitting senator in that situation? Normally, presidents try very hard not to be a quasi-president or co-partner to the incumbent during the transition. Obama's going to be under an awful lot of pressure to begin making decisions during the transition, almost as a quasi-president. Hank Paulson, the Treasury Secretary, is opening up offices in the Treasury for people to come in from Obama's team and be there for him. And the office space that Gloria talks about, that is the General Services Administration, which is sort of a general office building place for them. They have rented for the winter, no matter who it was, 100,000 square feet of office space. And that's going to be available, and that's what they hope to open tomorrow at noon.
We're going to take a short break. I want to get to our other panel as well. We have a lot more. Also, check out CNN.com for all the latest on politics. You can see the results of the races that we are still following coming in from around the country. We'll be right back.
I'm Deneen Varicchio, and this is my story. Around this time, the holiday, I helped to hand out food. The families feel very good when they open up their doors. I have arthritis in my fingers, in my elbows, in my knees. It just took my life away. I stopped doing a lot of things, especially volunteering. I take leave in the morning. It does work. I'm off and running. If I didn't have a leave, I wouldn't be able to accomplish the things that I do. It feeds your soul to do something good for others.
Documents start with people who have ideas to share. To bring your ideas to life, choose Sir Speedy. We have the expertise and technology to create, print, manage, and distribute them wherever they need to go. Sir Speedy. We are documents.
The traders at TD Ameritrade are a demanding bunch. In fact, they want it all.
You know, when I place an order, don't just fill it. Get me the best available price.
A better price means more money in my pocket.
That's why TD Ameritrade's proprietary order routing technology consistently seeks the best available price.
I've got quotes, charts, watch lists, just the way I want them. Mission control, right here.
Command Center 2.0 lets you customize your trading space.
No risk, no reward. But I need to know what the risk is. My secret? Back test?
Back test.
Back test.
Strategy Desk lets you back test your trading ideas to help you choose the best ones. And it's free. With superior tools like these, traders get what they want.
It's trader heaven.
Call or go to tdameritrade.com. Independence is the spirit that drives America's most successful investors.
Trade commission free for 30 days. Plus, get $100 cash when you open an account.
CNN Tomorrow, a special extended edition of American Morning, the most politics in the morning, the new president and how he won, final numbers and final analysis of the campaigns. CNN Tomorrow, a special extended edition of American Morning.
Closed captioning brought to you by RSM McGladrey.
What's behind success? RSM McGladrey, the accounting, tax, and business consultants for growing companies like yours. McGladrey, behind success.
Larry King tomorrow night. Barack Obama makes history. What's next for America's first black president? Larry King Live. CNN tomorrow night, 9 Eastern.
BBC World News America, New York's BBC newscast at 7 p.m. A global perspective on the news that matters to Americans and revealing stories from every corner of the earth you'll only see here.
We are taking cover because there's been a good deal of shooting here in the last few moments.
More than 2,000 reporters in the heart of the action. More bureaus around the globe. BBC World News America, New York's BBC newscast at 7 p.m. on BBC America, the home of BBC News in the U.S.
DLU Lead breaks the news. All new CNN Saturday night, 10 Eastern.
Welcome back to the CNN Election Center on this historic night when Barack Obama, the senator from Illinois, has been elected president of the United States. He will be sworn in on January 20th, 2009. Right now, his major mission is to make sure there is a smooth transition. And Valerie Jarrett is joining us from Chicago, one of his senior advisors. Valerie, congratulations to you. Well, I'll put it bluntly, how excited are you?
I am pretty excited, as you can tell tonight. It has been an extraordinary night here in Chicago, but it's an extraordinary night for our country. I'm so proud of Senator Obama and what he's accomplished with so many people helping him along the way. I think it says a great deal about our country that we could elect Senator Obama to be president-elect for the United States of America.
I know he was really nervous about a jinx. I interviewed him last Friday. He told me he was nervous about a jinx, but he's been preparing for a transition for some time. John Podesta, we know, has been working, giving him briefing papers, and we're told you'll be involved in helping him during this transition as well. Walk us through the process.
Well, you know what, this is what we're actually going to do. We're going to celebrate tonight. This is an extraordinary victory, and it's a time for us to come together and appreciate how far we've come. And in the days ahead, you'll be hearing more directly from Senator Obama, President-elect Obama, I should say, about the steps that he'll be taking to get prepared to lead on January 20th.
What does this mean to you personally as someone who's known Senator Obama for a long time?
It's hard to find the words to explain what this means to me. Of course, I've always known he was an extraordinary person, somebody of great intellect, of judgment and temperament that was even keel, and a kind, decent person, this core decency that I've appreciated in him over the 17 years that I've known him and also known Michelle. But to see our country come alive the way it did, the energy and the enthusiasm, and there's so many people across our country who become involved in this campaign. This campaign was really never about Barack Obama. It was about the American people. And the fact that they were willing to come together and work so hard to make this day happen just makes me feel like only in America could this happen.
Good point. Valerie, get some sleep tonight. Go ahead and celebrate because you got to work hard starting tomorrow in this transition.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Valerie Jarrett. Congratulations to you once again. Let's update you now on some of these close Senate races that we've been watching. In Georgia right now, look at this. Senator Saxby Chambliss, he's slightly ahead, 51 to 46% over his challenger in Georgia, Jim Martin, 46%, 97% of the vote in. Remember, this is a state where you need to get a majority of more than 50% in order to be elected. There's a third-party candidate there. If he stays at 51%, and it looks like he might, Saxby Chambliss would hold on to that seat. That would be very important for the Republicans. In Minnesota, Norm Coleman slightly ahead of Al Franken right now with 71% of the vote now in. There is a third-party candidate in Minnesota as well, Dean Barkley, the independent candidate. You don't need a majority in Minnesota, so if Coleman holds on to that 43% to 41% lead, he would be reelected in Minnesota, but it's not over with yet. They still have lots of votes to count. And take a look at this. In the state of Oregon, it's been really, really tight. Gordon Smith, the incumbent Republican, he's slightly behind Dean Merkley, the Democratic challenger, 41% of the vote in, but it's obviously still early. Plenty of opportunities for those numbers to change. We'll watch those closely. I want to show you some other races that we've already projected some winners, and I'm going to go back here. First of all, as some of you know, North Carolina. Right now, Elizabeth Dole, the Republican senator, she loses to Kay Hagan right now with 99% of the vote in, 53% for Kay Hagan, and that's enough. Look at John Sununu. He loses in New Hampshire, the incumbent Republican, to the former Democratic Governor Jeanne Shaheen, 72% of the vote now in New Hampshire. In Kentucky, the Republican incumbent, the minority leader, Mitch McConnell, he manages to hold on and win and get reelected in a relatively close race. Bruce Lunsford losing. In Colorado right now, Mark Udall, a congressman, he's going to be elected. The senator, that's a Democratic pickup, replacing an incumbent Republican who decided not to run again. And in New Mexico, his cousin, Tom Udall, he's going to be elected as well, another Democratic pickup. That's the seat that Pete Domenici gave up in New Mexico. And in the state of Maine, there will be the Republican incumbent, Susan Collins. She will stay in. She has been reelected in Maine. And in Louisiana, the Democrat incumbent, Mary Landrieu, she had a very tough race from John Kennedy, but she manages to hold on as well with 52%. In Mississippi, Thad Cochran, the incumbent Republican, he holds on, wins relatively easily there, as you can see. So it doesn't look like the Democrats are going to be able to get up to that 60 majority, filibuster-proof majority in the Senate, because these vulnerable Republicans, several of them, as you just saw, managed to hold on. But there will be a significant pickup in the Democratic majority. Right now, it's 51 to 49, and it's going to go up. The balance of power, we're going to take a look at that.
And Wolf, we do want to take a look at that. You had mentioned Louisiana. Mary Landrieu is keeping her seat there. That was the one seat that Democrats were really defending. The rest, Republican seats that have been shaky. John King, walk us through it. What we know now, as Wolf said, Democrats were trying to get to that magic number of 60. Doesn't look like they're going to do it.
Doesn't look like it. We'll show you the stakes so far, and those watching at home say, why does it matter so much? It matters hugely if you're President-elect Barack Obama and you're trying to get an agenda through the Congress. You want to know, number one, how many Democratic votes you have. You also want to know how much pressure you're going to come under from your own party trying to push things through. Before we go through the numbers, let's bring back your friend, Campbell. That would be the virtual Capitol, and put it on the table there. And let's start with the Senate. As we see, let's bring the Senate up and take a peek. And as you watch this, Phil, and this is where we began the night, 51 Democrats, 49 Republicans. But here's what we know so far. Wolf just went through all those results, and this is what you get at the end of that, 56 to 40. So the Democrats +5, assuming Joe Lieberman stays in their caucus, and we'll deal with that down the road a little bit. But 4 races. You see the white tiles in the middle there. The Alaska race, that's Senator Ted Stevens, the longest-serving Republican in the Senate. Most believe this seat will go Democratic, but we're waiting. The polls are still open in the state of Alaska. Ted Stevens convicted just last week of 7 corruption charges. Democrats may pick up that one. That would give them, let's say for the hypothetical that they win that one. I just want to show how hard it is to get to 60. That's one they think they can get. This one, Wolf just talked about. Saxby Shambles is ahead. The question is, when the absentee ballots are counted, will he stay above 50%? So we'll leave this one as undecided for now and put it back. A very tight race out here in Oregon. Gordon Smith ahead at the moment, as Wolf just said, although I'm looking at updated results now, show the Democratic challenger slightly ahead at the moment. So we'll watch this one as these come in. But even if Democrats won them all, they would just get to 60. In Minnesota, of course, we've showed that earlier, Norm Coleman eking it out. The Democrats would have to win all of these left, Campbell, on the board, which at the moment appears unlikely, but we'll watch them as they come in. And then there is that one other question, what happens to Joe Lieberman? He is here. He is an independent who caucuses with the Democrats. Many Democrats would like to kick him out of the caucus because of his open support for John McCain, but
and
more
he hasn't really been caucusing with them lately either, Lieberman.
He has not been caucusing with them lately. He has not been caucusing with them. He hasn't been back in the Senate for some time. But he not only did he campaign for his friend John McCain, most Democrats understood that, but he was very harsh at the convention and in some of his public speeches about Barack Obama, who is now the president-elect of the United States. If the Democrats get to 59 and Joe Lieberman would be 60, and again, we're waiting for Minnesota, Oregon, Georgia, and I hypothetically called Alaska, but that's not really done, so we'll put that back there. And if they can get to 60, including Joe Lieberman, there'll be a lot of pressure to keep him there. But Dana Bash reporting a little bit earlier that Harry Reid, the Democratic leader, will have a meeting with him later in the week, and they will see what to do with that situation. A lot of pressure on Harry Reid to at least strip him of his chairmanship that he has, and many would like to kick him out of the caucus. So that's what we see. Democrats will have at least 56. And potentially 57, 58, 60 looks like a dream. And quickly, Campbell, I just want to bring up the House numbers, and we can switch the screens here and show you the House. And this is where we were at the beginning of the night, 236 to 199. A lot of counting to go on here in the House races. We do know they will pick up, the Democrats will, a minimum of 16 seats. So Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker, will have a bigger Democratic majority of at least 252 Democrats. We expect that number to actually go a bit higher, perhaps substantially higher, but we know now as we go through the 435 House races across the country, the Democrats will pick up at least 16. Some Campbell think that number will go in excess of 25 or even higher. We'll count those votes as we go on through the night.
So a lot of wind at Barack Obama's back as they actually try to get down to the business of governing based on the numbers we're looking at right now.
It is a blessing to have more Democrats to put your agenda through. It also could be a little pressure. The expectations on Barack Obama, one of the big tests, the first test will be, will he stand up to his own party if they try to push things that perhaps the middle of the country or the more conservative Democrats and the Republicans he promises to reach out to. That will be one of the fascinating dynamics we'll watch it play out for 70 days, a little more than that, until he's actually the president, and then, of course, once he is.
First 100 days. All right, John King for us, and let's turn back to Wolf. Wolf?
Thanks very much. Alaska, by the way, Campbell, Alaska has now closed the polls. That means that polls all over the United States are now closed. It's just after 1 a.m. here on the East Coast and Alaska. It's now official. That state is closed. We're watching, by the way, as John mentioned, an important Senate race there. The incumbent Ted Stevens, who's been convicted on those felony counts, he's facing very tough challenge from the popular mayor of Anchorage, Mark Begich. We'll update you on what we know on that race because that could affect, obviously, the balance of power. Ted Stevens, the longest-serving Republican in the United States Senate. Look at these pictures from Pennsylvania Avenue, just outside the White House. These are live pictures you're seeing right now. They're coming in. Folks have gathered in the District of Columbia right outside the White House to express their joy at Barack Obama's election tonight, and they're making that very, very clear. Just after 1 a.m. on the East Coast, and lots of people have gathered at the White House to celebrate the election of Barack Obama. We'll take a quick break. We'll continue our coverage right after this.
Coverage of America Votes 2008 is sponsored by the American Coalition for Clean Coal Electricity and by the Society for Human Resource Management. Meeting the challenges of a changing world. Visit the Election Center at cnn.com/election for in-depth information on the candidates.
Throughout history, new ideas have often been met with skepticism. But technology born from American ingenuity can achieve amazing things. We're committed to a future in which our most abundant fuel, coal, generates our electricity with even lower emissions, including the capture and storage of CO2. It's a big challenge, but we've made a commitment to clean. Learn more about clean coal at americaspower.org.
Businesses are continually challenged by the winds of change. Our job is to anticipate and prepare for them, to lead a workforce in transition, to recruit and keep top talent ahead of the curve, to manage healthcare costs, to find strategic solutions that help you succeed in these challenging economic times. Human resource professionals, meeting the challenges of a changing world.
My dad was an awesome person. He was a family man. He had never been sick a day in his life when his kidneys failed. The bills came in, they were astounding. Like, they were $10,000 a month. They went to $12,000. I think the highest was like about $15,000. In the end, we ended up filing for bankruptcy, and we didn't have any choice.
You wanted it to work out here. You wanted it to work right now. You wanted free weekends and free hams. You wanted it to do more and cost less. You wanted your email, text messages, GPS, and MP3s. Your favorite websites, your favorite colors. And tomorrow, you'll want even more. Okay.
Tell me something. Why does my company have so many printers? Every time I turn around, there's another one wasting electricity, waiting for a print job, not to mention the stockpile of supplies. Give me one machine with outstanding productivity and functionality. With an LCD